Hello, hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring Esports Podcast, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Philly Esports. If you are watching on stream, phillyesports.gg, check them out, sponsor the show. I say that because I just realized that we were on mute on the stream, but conveniently, just for that intro. Not a big deal, though.
Perfect.
Not a big deal. If that's the worst thing that happens today, I would say the show's doing pretty well. If the fact that I just forgot to hit unmute, not a big deal. Forgetting to hit record in an interview or deleting or audio bugs, issues like that, that's a big deal. Other things can be fixed. Episode 360 coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, October 12th, 2021. The time, 8:57 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Be aware of all show news and things going on. Join our Discord. It's in the link of said Twitter account. Be a part of the conversation. Have a lot of good group. For us not knowing anything about League of Legends, we have a good group of listeners who are constantly talking about Worlds, and I want to jump in, but I'm like, I got nothing, guys. Like, I want to be an interactive host. I want to be a good host. I have nothing.
A good host knows when to chime in and when to stay put.
Yeah, like I
think we're okay there.
Like when my wife asks how I like her hair. Like, babe, I got real no opinion. As long as you got some. That's like all I can say. But join our Discord. That's the point. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
I had a shower thought just now while you were talking.
Oh yeah?
I picture like the first hit of meth being similar to like a 1vx in Counter-Strike. Like every time I'm in a clutch situation, everything starts changing in my body for the better, right? Like I feel that
things
rush of
slow
adrenaline
down,
kicking in. Like you get into this zone, you're like kind of in this high. I bet that's what the first hit of meth would feel like. Like that's why you would keep. Why else would you keep going back? You know, same thing with Counter-Strike. You don't win every clutch situation. Doesn't always end happy, but you go back for that feeling, and I think that's why we continue to stay in competitive games, because we really can't get that anywhere else. Like you and me are not joining any highly competitive sports leagues anymore, probably at this point.
though. I have thought about going back to hockey.
Yeah, hockey would
like
be the one.
the lowest beer league, though. Like
but
the lowest.
It's like something about that feeling to get that. I mean, it's kind of untouchable, you know. At least for me.
I mean, I agree. I think that's why, right? That's why people get sweaty in matchmaking and stuff, right? Because for some of us, this is all we got left as far as like being competitive, and it's something that at once upon a time we were pretty good at and still are. I think if we had the time and put in the effort, I think we could get somewhat back to what we were, right? Pushing the top ranks and actually knowing every single call out in the game. Nowadays, I get back in and people are like, yo, they're at Bumblebee. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Bumblebee, I got that.
Got it.
Don't worry.
As you're facing the wrong way.
Everyone throw
to the wrong site.
Everyone throw your smokes. Okay, I threw a smoke. Where at? Oh, you meant like in a specific area? No, I just threw it over the wall. Like we're just
like it's in the general vicinity of where it needs to be.
Right. I have no idea.
An open spot.
I have no idea where this smoke went. I just knew I threw it over there. And it didn't get hit by the skybox. So that's all I have for you. But as someone who's never done meth, I don't know exactly how to compare to it, but I would have to imagine something like it.
Like the high probably feels close.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's no, even out of all the MOBAs that I've played, nothing matches like the experience of being the last one alive in an FPS game and all your teammates are watching you. There's just there's no matching that feeling. Like
Comms have just gone silent.
I'm playing
It's
in like
like,
a silver pug in Counter-Strike, and it's like seriously, you would think I'm on like the main stage of a final. Like
sure, yeah, it's not even a joke. Like that's really how it feels every time.
heart is pounding. So
Making me want to go play right now.
yes, yes. But then we're old and we play New World where it's pretty chill the whole time.
It's
Heart
really
rate
nice.
really
Like
doesn't go up at all.
maybe we just do the New World update now. Get
Yeah.
out of the way.
Yeah, not bad either. All right. So enough about that. Let's get into the show because we got a lot to discuss here. Let's start off as always though, with some yikes of the week. I'll let you start with yours.
Yeah, so we're gonna actually talk about Counter Strike here. This is a Counter Strike Yikes. Look, we had the RMRs going on. It's the biggest events of the year so far, right? This event determined so many teams making into the major versus sitting at home and watching. Like it really almost felt like a mini major in itself, right? Like so many places or spots were on the line during this final RMR event. So in the NA side, you had Triumph facing off against EG. Both teams, EG in this case was fighting for a legend spot. Triumph was fighting for a chance just to make the major. And think about that. If you make the major, you go down in Counter Strike lore, right? Like just
Right.
to say you made and played in a major is, regardless if this is a major where there's a lot more teams involved compared to previous years. I know just the past few years have had this, but a chance to play in the major, get sticker money, get recognition, like put that on your resume. And here we are at a 6 p.m. I think it was Central Time, either way, in NA time zone, 6 p.m. match, and Exceed from Triumph oversleeps, causing them to forfeit the match and essentially giving EG the free win in points.
I
Can
don't I don't get it. Like I don't get it.
I understand awkward sleeping schedules, right? That's not a weird thing in esports to have an
Right.
unusual sleeping schedule. But to be, I mean, there's no other immature, whatever, to just to oversleep in that moment seems so inexcusable to me because I would have been the guy setting like 3 or 4 alarms. I mean, on that day of all days,
Well, and
right? Like if
also
you
like
oversleep a scrim or something, whatever. But this match,
this is what I don't understand either too. It's like so say like for professional sports and I'll just go with hockey because it's the one off the top of my head because it started today and it's the one I'm more familiar with. Is like on a game day, you have a set schedule for the team. You have a morning skate. You have like lunch and then you get to the arena early to warm up and do like the pre warm up and things like that. Like there are checkpoints throughout the a match day that I feel like teams would just naturally know like, "Hey, has anyone heard from this guy today?" Like, no, he wasn't there for like early morning meetings or like a 3 hour review check or anything. Like, what time is his alarm set to where you could even oversleep that much and miss your match?
yeah, I think he was trying to take a nap like right before the event and like a couple hours before. So I'm sure he was there for maybe some dates, time sort of activity that they had or, meeting or whatever it may have been. And then just went to sleep and they couldn't get a hold of him after trying to obviously reach him multiple times. And yeah, he showed up just a little bit too late. And think about the importance of this, right? Number one, free win for EG. EG won two BO1s in this event. So one of them was by default to Triumph, a tiebreaker, and one BO3. So they didn't win a lot of games. There was a handful of games, right? You're playing in like 8 or 9 games. They won like not even 50%. They got legend status at the major for NA side. And this was the bump that essentially gave them the extra points that they needed to be put in that position. And Triumph didn't even qualify. So, that's a whole nother,
So if you're Triumph, how fast do you cut Exceed?
like the sad part is he's like one of their better players. So I don't know, if you're Triumph, what do you do? In that moment, yeah,
I think just to send a message, I'm at least benching your ass. Like, even if it's just to send a
He shouldn't have
message.
been allowed to play in the rest of the event at the very least. Like, but you don't want to like you lose those points. Here's the problem, right? Like when in the RMR, the way it's set up is points are allocated to players, not to teams.
Right.
So by him not being there, A, they lost more points than they normally would, and then you would lose them for those remaining matches. So you're hurting the whole team, even though that's what he did in that match. But by benching him like the rest of the event or something would hurt the team
Though,
further.
can
So
I be honest with you? I secretly get very excited when bad things happen to Triumph. So be-
I forget, it was that tweet
it
that they
was that
sent out.
one dumb tweet that they tweeted out, and it wasn't the team, but it was someone like in their ownership. And this was when Envy dropped their CS roster. And
Yeah.
so everyone and their mother was going around making fun of them, saying like, guys, just you should have just spent money. You just didn't care enough. And some of it was tongue in cheek, but some of it was dead ass serious. And this one from Triumph, like the dude in Triumph, was dead ass serious. And he was
And
just,
this is right after Triumph went on their little run there.
they were on
that-
like like a little, I mean, like a microscopic hot streak of Triumph, right? In Flashpoint, flexing
in the
their
lowest time of NAE or NACS.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
they were like flexing a little bit. They were feeling good. Okay, I get it. But he was just saying like, here at Triumph, it's not about them. It's about, we are about winning and we'll pay the players and blah blah blah. Just flexing a little bit. And now it's just like, oh, I guess it's just it's different for you guys, huh? It's not about winning. Good thing it's not about just winning for Triumph, because your players don't even wake up for your matches.
They're
It's
oversleeping, man. I baffle my mind. I really thought it was a joke. I was like, this is like an esports joke, right? Like some sort of inside joke, but no.
No, you know what though? It's not
No.
the first and won't be the last time someone oversleeps in a match for esports. Because, I mean, like you said, gamer hours are unlike any other. I have a yikes of the week here. It is falling in the laps of Valorant, and actually, this might be me. Maybe I'm the yikes here, Anuj, because actually yes, Wolf. That was the one I remember is Smite. Some dude. I think it was what was that? I don't even think they're in org anymore, but they had players oversleep in a couple of matches. I think for Smite that was an issue. Anyways, besides the point. My yikes of the week, I think it falls on me for the first time ever. I'm putting myself in the yikes crosshair, Anuj, because as a host of an esports podcast, the #1 esports podcast, I feel like I should like love everything esports unconditionally. Doesn't matter. However, I cannot get myself to care about LCQ, the last chance qualifiers right now for Valorant. I can't bring myself to even turning on a match and spending time to watch yet another qualifier for this event.
I see where you're coming from. I watched a little bit of the 100 Thieves Gen G matchup. I'm interested in a couple of teams in the event, but we've had like it's been such a confusing format. I found it hard to care in any of the formats until we've advanced later, in the later stages, and I can kind of see how it's developing. This is just like one of 6 qualifiers it feels like we've had at this point leading up to champions coming up here. And I get it, like this has so much importance, right? But like one team's making it out. There's several rounds to go before we have an outcome in this event. Catch me a little deeper and I'll be more invested. But yeah, like I'm not sitting here amped up and hyped for every game taking place. Like, there's
No.
a couple I want to follow a couple of these teams, but
And I mean, like, let's be real here, okay? This is the last chance qualifiers. These are for teams that already failed to qualify after like 5 chances getting in. I don't know what any of these teams, what the chances of them are making a huge run. Maybe 100 Thieves can make some type of a run, right? If they make it through. But overall, it's like, just kind of call me when we get there at this point with these VCT qualifiers. I get their last chance, but I feel like this is a fake hype for a last chance qualifying tournament that Riot made up. The players were already bitching about it, saying it wasn't fair. and I've already said my piece on it. Like, bro, you know what's like? Just be happy you're getting another chance to even qualify for this thing. So I'm
Yeah.
just mentally, I just can't. We got Worlds, we got TI going on. I got the RMR event setting up for the major. I can't. I can't get hyped for yet another qualifier for Valorant. Just call me when it's over.
I really do hope they change the formatting next year because it's just been difficult to follow, especially for people that are following it. It's just a little overwhelming with I like the team, like the number of teams and how it kind of has that play-in feel and
Yeah. I just
it was like early on, but the hype died down the further on, each round that we went to qualify. I was like, okay, I
I
get
feel
it.
like it's also just like the age of COVID esports where it's just like everything is a qualifier because you have each region that has to feed into the bigger tournament now rather than
Yeah.
just having one giant qualifier for all the regions and then whoever gets in, right? It's now we have like, oh, here's an NA qualifier, here's an EU qualifier, here's the Chinese qualifier, here's the Latin American qualifier, here's the Korean qualifier. And it's just like, I have to get excited for every single one of these like they just won the major. Like, no, 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 no. That's not how this works.
I'm following NA's last chance qualifier and
I'll peek it
that's it.
around the curtain at the others, but again, I'm not raising a banner for qualifying. Like you
No.
I will get excited in the tournament. For qualifying, I can't. There's just too much esports to go around to get
EU
excited.
side to me is a lot more interesting though for the last chance qualifier. Like I think on the NA side, you're not looking at every team as a real contender, right? I think you're looking at 100 Thieves, Xset, version 1, and that's really kind of it. Everybody else is like outside looking in. I feel if they make it, it would be a little bit of a, I think actually quite a big upset. EU side does have a lot. I think I would be a lot more entertained if I was like an EU fan right now because you are looking at teams like G2, Guild Esports, Team Liquid, Supermassive Blaze. Like those are pretty large fan
That's because
bases in the
EU's just overall had more ebb and flows, right, throughout their journey in Valorant. Where or for NA, it's kind of just been like the top dog, so we knew kind of who were making it for the most part. Yes, but I agree. EU more of, but
like
EU's always
just
been that
one of
way.
G2 and Liquid, like only one of them making it through, and you want to throw Guild in there, like that's
Yeah,
you know those are big name teams in the
EU's
Valorant.
been a wild card since its existence with Valorant. So definitely, definitely. But again, just call me when it's over. Call me when I have to pay attention, so I know what teams I need to pay attention to. Last yikes of the week here, though, Anuj, is Riot has announced that they will be disabling all chat in League of Legends to prevent toxicity. So you can no longer talk to the other teams. And other games do this. The one I think of off the top of my head was Heroes of the Storm. You couldn't talk to the enemy team apart from GG at the end, things like that.
I don't, to me, this is just like such a weak way of trying to solve this problem is just to now not allow communication at all. And like in an online world, like I don't know, I feel like the fun part of these games is to be able to communicate with all people,
Right.
right? In some form,
I think
and to
the
take it away completely, to me, it just feels like a cheap, quick fix to a solution that you know, it's going to take some big brains to kind of figure out. I don't have the answer, but they could do a better job of like banning more words maybe so they
right.
don't like show up. I mean, I don't know.
If there's a will, there's a way. People will find a way to still be toxic. Also, though, I don't feel like it's normally the enemy team that's being the toxic ones. I think it's my teammates yelling at me for not knowing what I'm doing and things like that. Like, you're still going to get toxicity. It's just going to be now on one side rather than getting it
It'll be
from
for like
both.
5 players versus 10.
Right.
So
But even then, like, I think the other team might just be talking shit, but to me, that's all in the sportsmanship of the game, right? Okay, you're the enemy team, made a good play, talk shit. That's fine. You know, teammates yelling at you because you're, going to bottom lane when everyone's pushing up and whatever, right? That's my entire knowledge of League of Legends.
like
I don't
imagine in
know.
CSGO if they told us that all chat was banned going forward. Like that would suck.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It
feel
would
like that'd be
feel it
like
would feel weird. It would feel weird. Kind of like you're
Yeah.
just kind of playing in your own. It almost feel like you're playing against bots in a way. But either way, Riot solving toxicity one update at a time. All right, Anuj, let's get into our too soon review. This weekend, or for I guess the better part of last week, was the Battlefield 2042 open closed early access beta. Very misleading advertising, by the way, EA. Very misleading. You don't call it an open beta and then like no, it's open beta if you pre-ordered it. It's an open beta on the weekend for those who don't. No. You get early access to beta if you, I digress. I got to play over the weekend because I've yet to pre-order it for no rhyme or reason. I just haven't done it. You got to pre-order it, but we both did get a chance to play Battlefield 2042. Too soon review. I know some people were having like major issues as far as like graphically and like running. I didn't run into that. I don't. Maybe it depends on the
No.
graphics card. I didn't have any issue. The game looked gorgeous for me.
Yeah, it looked fine, played fine. I noticed that like it didn't feel like the servers were necessarily always the smoothest. Like there was a little bit of a like it felt like it needed to be polished a little bit more. It didn't feel like my computer was having a tough time running it, but I did feel like the game needs a little bit more polish. And they're saying it's an older build that we are playing, that it should feel a lot more polished for a final product than it did. But there were enough people out there that were having issues that it did get pretty mixed reviews so far.
Yeah.
I thought the gameplay itself was really good. I do wish they would have given us more than one map to play for that many days. Like that was
Right. Like
I didn't
after
care. Like
first
I'm
couple of
not gonna sit there
times.
and grind out the same map over and over and over again. But the large scale server or maps, 128 people, like seeing the jets fly overhead, like I enjoy. It's what I
I mean,
expected
hey,
from Battlefield.
yeah, if chaos is what you wanted, chaos is what you're getting because that's the one. Like I was, and so we did not play together, so we weren't like squad up communicating or anything like that. But man, your head has to be on a swivel. Like it really, like I feel like other Battlefield games, I at least could kind of pick a direction to look, and that's in general where the other people were going. But this one, it felt like pure chaos to
This
me.
map was like super open for a majority of it. It
Yeah.
felt like I was running through a field or crossing a street or in like a parking lot like half the time I
Did
was
you feel
playing.
that the gunplay felt now again, this was beta and maybe it was just, you know, I was using bad attachments combined whatever, right? Cuz they had a certain number of combinations for attachments you could use, so maybe I was just being bad on that part. But I felt like the gunplay felt like really off or either like just time it was either the time to kill
So I
or
thought the time to kill needed to be reduced a little bit. Like I felt like there were some times where I was like pegging people and then maybe it was the gun I was
see, and
using
maybe
wasn't
that's what I
great
was
for
thinking.
the
It was
distance
either
and
my
stuff,
bullets
but
were missing them or the time to kill was too long. One of the
like
two.
a long distance aiming outside of using a sniper felt more difficult than
Yeah.
it kind of usually does. I thought at close range it felt fine, but at distance, which a lot of fighting in that game is at distance, with an AR didn't feel the best. But honestly, I just use the AR like 90% of the
Yeah.
time
And that's what I'm saying.
speaking
Maybe it's just
American.
I'll let people theory craft and as you get attached. Battlefield is one of those games where it's like you just have to know, almost like Call of Duty, right? If you get right into Call of Duty, those first couple of days are not going to be as fun because you haven't unlocked the better attachments.
Yeah.
You're working with what you got while the dude you're playing with has some like barrel stabilizer to dink you from across the map, right? So I'm giving that a grain of salt if it was the attachment and or the gun. If it wasn't that and it's just in general that's what the time to kill or that's what it feels like to shoot, I wasn't a fan. Not enough to be like this game sucks, but enough to me be like, yo, maybe tweak that a little because I saw a lot of people like some of the people I watch on Twitch were saying the same thing, like
Yeah.
just
No,
felt
like I said, the
weird.
game just didn't feel like overly polished. Like it felt like a game that needed a little bit more time, and that's looks like that's the reason for the delay. But I hope they clean it up before launch. I mean, either way, I'm still pretty excited to play it, and once we get to play all the maps, like that makes such a big difference experiencing like the different
Yeah.
environments and all that in
I was always
Battlefield.
a bigger city urban map anyway guy on
Yeah,
Battlefield. I was never the map that I played was it looked almost like
it was Orbital. It was the same map for everyone.
okay, so it was like a beachy tropical island to island type map. I guess, or at least the zone I was in most of the time for it. So it wasn't as urban. It felt like it was kind of like a military base esque. I really don't know, but not as urban as I kind of like them. But overall, I'm still excited for the game, and there's that. Too soon review for Battlefield 2042. Is that what it is? Battlefield
Yeah,
2042,
2042.
40, whatever it is. So let us know what you guys think. Maybe if you got to play some of the beta. I don't know when the next beta is, if there is even one before the game comes out at this point, but whatever. Keep an eye out. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I mean, honestly, I'm like I said, I mean, just I need to see a little. I'm still excited. I'm still gonna
Yeah,
be
I
playing
will.
it.
So I will tell you this: if I had to rate it, because this is too soon review, my rating after playing the beta is low. The hype is lower than what it was going into the beta.
For sure. Yeah, like if I was giving it a rating today, this is the final product and this is the game I played, 6.5 to 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
Like that's where it would kind of fall for me today. I think it has the ability to sit around like an 8.5, 9, if
right.
they do it right. I'm never, you're never gonna get a
But
10
the hype
probably,
level was
but
so real going in. The beta did kind
yeah.
of pull me back a little bit and be like, "Oh wait, the last two Battlefields weren't that great." So
Like the hope here is that they use the beta in a productive way, right? Like it is
right.
better when it releases. We'll know right away,
Yeah. Yep, 100%. All right, so we have some more news. Last episode, we talked a little bit about the Stockholm Major coming up for CS. Some teams were qualified. Some teams were just finishing up their RMR events. Well, Anuj, we now have the full list for the upcoming major in Sweden. And I guess let's just talk high overview. I don't want to do like a full-on preview. The start date, when is the actual start date for the major? October
So
26th. So we got I guess probably next week we'll do a full preview or something like that, but I don't want to do a full preview yet just cuz I didn't get a chance to look at every single match and all these teams, but anything stand out to you right away from some of the teams?
I mean, the first one was that we'd already mentioned in um Yikes being EG getting legend status to me looks really odd, right? Like it just doesn't feel like they belong in that class of teams. Nip coming out from IEM, this was so important in my eyes for them to win this IEM event, okay? Just to take that event in a very highly competitive event, although it didn't matter at the end in that final essentially in terms of where they both teams were going to end up. I thought them coming out on top with Device's MVP was critical because my storyline heading into the major was going to be, oh my God, we haven't seen the Device of old. He's not the same player on NIP. And it's been true. Like the numbers don't lie. He has not been the same player since being on NIP. But seeing this last event gives me hope that they're finding it. And he came out with the MVP at IEM Fall, so that is a, a big for them. Other than that, I think I'm more surprised about some of the teams that made it, like movie star writers. Never in a million years would I have said like this is a team that's getting in with the group that they had to face. Same thing with Copenhagen Flames. Um, that's another team that again, because of being an EU and it was so stacked, I just didn't think there was much of a chance for them to make it through. And they go 5-0 in group stage playing against phenomenal teams. So both of those teams, huge, huge surprises. Um, on the EU side, on the NA side, obviously, I kind of feel that same way about Godsent, Taco's team
I mean, you could
making it
say that with
through
any
because
team in NA, right? Like just fill in any team that would have made it, even though someone from NA had to make it, the result would have been the same. You would have been surprised.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, somebody had to fill those spots. I should say I'm more happy that it's that team versus maybe
Right.
some of the other options that
I
we would
I
have
do
had.
chuckle though, because listener of the show, Nikki Tavik, who plays or is with Northern Gaming, I believe is his org's name.
Northern Forces.
Northern Forces, sorry, don't want to screw it up. Northern Forces, they just played Godsent in like some ESEA open match. Like they got destroyed, but of course it's Godsent, right? And they were there because of the players or what. But it's like, so his team just lost to Godsent in some ESEA Open, and here they are a couple weeks later qualifying for a major. Like,
Pretty
what a turn
crazy.
of event for them.
Shocker, Tyloo and Renegades, both in the major.
Wouldn't be one without him.
Wouldn't be one without
It's
them.
listen, you know what? And I'm gonna say this as an NA fan, of course, and so I might be showing my colors here. We get grief saying like, "Oh, NA shouldn't have spots, this, that, and blah blah blah." The only time we see Ty Lue and Renegades for the most part is during majors. So let's pump the brakes on teams wasting spots at majors. If we just want to put a blanket statement and ignore regions for teams wasting spots at majors, like I understand Tyloo has to be there to make everyone happy and have someone from the Asian side of things being there, but if we're just doing a blanket statement, they're wasting spots.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of teams that we would have probably liked to,
That
you
being
know,
said, I like Tyloo.
see have a chance in
Softy
there.
spot, softy. That one day they'll make it out. I think FaZe being, you just to show you, to prove your point, right? It's insane some of these EU teams that made it. The fact that FaZe made it but is a contender, like they're starting from the bottom side of things, working their way up in the major. It's surprising because of the names. It's not as surprising given how FaZe has played as of late, right? Like they've been not the intimidating FaZe clan as we once come to know. But I think just qualifying for the major for them, right? We see Twists showing after he made that move, leaving the NA side of things, joining FaZe clan, so he's able to qualify. So that's good to see. All of Meister being in another major, of course, is good to see. Never never I'll never be upset at Olaf Meister qualifying for a major regardless of the team. Is still weird though, like we said last week. Just though it's the second one back to back, it's jarring not to see Fnatic in a major.
I mean, honestly, there's so many teams with big names that are not in this event. It kind of sucks in that sense, right? Like OG also didn't make it to the major. Obviously, Fnatic not making it to the major. Complexity not making it to the major. I know Big was a long shot. Not Big. Dignitas was a long shot, but like you look at some of the names that are on that roster, how great would it have been to see Forest and Freiburg, getting to compete on that stage. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent on EU sitting on the outside looking in for this event. And that does suck because like a team like OG to me should definitely be in the major. They played well enough throughout the year. Unfortunately, just didn't do it in the RMR events to make it. Where complexity, I'm a little bit on the other side of right now. Like they are looking like they are headed into a downward spiral potentially with also Colzera's contract coming up at the end of the year and config, departing. Looks like he's going to Stralis. So yeah, I mean, a lot of big names on the outside looking in from the EU side, where teams like again, like I said, Renegades, Tyloo, um, yeah, it's nice to have representation, but at what cost? We don't have the best teams
Right.
there.
Well, hopefully this is the only major that we have to deal with it this way, right? I think even though this is the first major in 2 years, and yeah, we're supposed to be excited and we're supposed to be hyped up for it, and Counter-Strike major is back. It doesn't have the same vibe to me right now. Let me get all my notes together for the preview episode, and maybe we'll get back in it. But you're right, just not seeing some of these teams, some of these names there. This just seems like
Um,
something that we chugged along to get to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I say that, but am s- I'm actually really, really hyped for the major myself. I honestly am. Like the teams that are there, the teams that were going to win this in the end are in this event. Like the teams that I mentioned that didn't
Yeah,
make
they're
it
not going to
are
make a
teams that wanted
difference.
to see competing in this event. for a chance to have some big upsets, maybe make a crazy run like that could happen. But I believe we got a handful of teams that really have a chance to win this event in this event. And so I'm not going to complain too much. I mean, obviously, look, we got Navi, Gambit. You have 3-time or 4-time major winning Astralis, back in the hunt. Nip with Device, G2, Vitality, Liquid. Like all these teams are very, very good, and they are the best of the best. So
And
I do think we got like our top 10 in here.
And the last thing I'll say is I am curious to see some of these teams being in major mode, right? When you flip that switch, because I think a lot of these teams, like Liquid, EG's had some roster movement, so maybe not as much them, but like Liquid, I feel like is one of these teams that have just kind of coasted mentally so far through like the last 2 years, right? They just haven't been that hungry dog that's been wanting to do it, and so hopefully this major kind of reignites that drive, right? That we're kind of used to seeing. Is they like Liquid to me used to walk around with swagger. They've lost that swagger. So hopefully with this major coming up, gets Stewie back in the mood, gets Elige stop thinking about Valorant. Maybe we can keep him for another year or two before he bails. That's what I want to see. I want to see that spark, and then maybe I'll get back into it. But right now, we'll leave it at that. We'll talk more about the CS major. Oh, you got something else?
I got a pop quiz for you here.
Okay, shoot.
Out of the top 17 teams, HLTV rankings, how many of them do you think did not make the major?
Let me look at this team. Let's see. Top 17. Of the top 17, is Fnatic in the top 17 right now? Probably. They're probably like 15.
And we have 24 teams in the major, but out of the top 17 ranked teams in the world, how many did not make it?
I'm going to say 6.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
1.
Oh, okay. You tricked me. Those are mind games. So one team didn't make it in the top 17.
In the world rankings right now, out of the top 17, only number 10 OG did not qualify.
Okay,
for the major.
so I was giving Fnatic too much credit when I thought they were like maybe 15. I thought they were
Fnatic's 26.
What's Complexity at?
Complexity is 21.
God, these teams suck.
No
wonder they're not in the major.
Complexity doesn't have a ton of points because of roster changes,
Right.
also. And then you have a team that, you would, I mean, just one. So, and you have a team like EG in legend status. One more pop quiz. Guess their rank right now.
I mean, EG, they might be out of the top 17, right?
They're out of the top 30. They're not even on the ranking board.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
So, yeah, I mean, we think we're missing a lot of the top,
but we're not.
But in reality, we're 16 out of the top 17 playing in this event. So,
we're not.
Granted, teams like Movie Star Riders and Copenhagen have all jump spots. Like Copenhagen jumped 4 spots on this latest rankings. But really, the only abnormality there is Movie Star Riders, who jumped 10 spots because of their placement. So they were the one outside looking in. Everybody else was right in reach, though, of that ranking.
I did see this funny tweet about, I think it was Yanko who tweeted it out, about EG. It says EG won 2 best of ones. 1 was by default win against Triumph, as you mentioned. A tiebreaker and 1 best of 3 at the IEM Fall. Placed last at their first NA RMR without a single win, and will have legend status going into the major. Pays to be NA. Pays to be NA.
Whatever they're paying, that investment is worth it.
Right.
For even to be just average, you're getting legend status.
Doesn't matter how you get there. You got there. You are legend status. And I don't know, does this normally legends? Well, no, because it's at the end. The legends at the end automatically qualify for the next one or whatever. So
yeah, the legends at the end, I think.
At the end will qualify for the next major.
Although for this one, I think it was different.
Everybody it's all. To go back it's all different here. This is That's why you see a lot of the teams that
fewest
normally
NA
don't see.
Players and fewest Sweden players ever in a major, with just essentially 5 on both sides.
Right. Yeah. So
it's kind of crazy. There's 24
insane.
teams here. There's 5 NA players on.
Well, it's because they're all playing in the last chance qualifier for Valorant. That's where they all went. So, all right. Well, let's save some more of the major talk then for the next couple of weeks, because we will do our full Stockholm major broken up here for Counter-Strike sometime in the next couple of weeks. Let's get into some e-news though, as we have a lot to get to here with CS Config. I think you actually mentioned this last week that he was probably looking at leaving Complexity here soon. So sure enough, CSGO Genius official announcement. Config has officially left Complexity, looking for options. You mentioned, I didn't see this.
He's going to Astralis.
He's going. That's
it's all but confirmed. He'll be on Astralis, after this major is over. And
all right, so we'll see.
Astralis could have potentially 3 changes coming to that roster, or like maybe 1. So interesting to see. But Config will be joining the Danish squad.
Yeah, I gotta increase this thing, man. I'm blind. Fnatic bench Jacquino and have Smooya as a stand-in at the moment. I think Jacquino, he's kind of had a rough bit though. Like he kind of got the short stick with this one, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, Fnatic hasn't performed, so they naturally were going to make changes. So I don't know how shocking it is. I'm frankly, I'm kind of happy Smooya is getting another chance, because he's still one of the few that's out there grinding Counter-Strike without being on a team, right? So you want to see these people get opportunities, and Smooya's had a couple shots in the past. I think this is one of his bigger ones. They haven't made it a permanent change, so it'll be fun to see if you can take advantage of it.
Congratulations to the newest gamer dad of the bunch, as Glaive has officially became a father. Baby boy Milas. Put that Milas with a European twist, and that's how you say it. Milas.
Congratulations to Glaive, and
enjoy your retirement.
Yeah. At least you made some money. 3 majors under the belt isn't bad, my friend.
You're soon to be retirement. And little shout out here. I always give a shout out for these, but just earlier today in the Blast Fall Showdown, Dignitas had the perfect CT round versus Team Fiend on Nuke at halftime. Anuj, Fiend were up 13-2 at half. 13-2 at half. Dignitas ended up winning 16-13.
I mean, incredible. And if you haven't had a chance, I highly recommend it, guys. Go watch the post-game interview with Forrest, and you can see this man still has like a passion, like a burning desire to play this game as much as he has to play at this level. But really good interview with Maniac there. But yeah, it's awesome to see stuff like that, and it's not often you see like perfect halves on the comeback side,
right? I have seen, and especially like for CT, right? Because all it takes is 1 round, and it doesn't matter if you've won 5 rounds. You lose 1, your economy's shot at that point. Like CT economy is so bad, you just have to knock them off once, and you're good. So big for Dignitas. This made me think of something, and I think I've said this before on the show. If you want to speed up Counter-Strike, I think if there's ever like a best of 3 series, if you ever get 16-0'd, the match is over and you lose. Doesn't matter if it's on map 1. Like if it's map 1 and you get 16-0'd, you're done. Like sorry,
that BO3 is over.
Yeah, the BO3 is done. You got smacked so hard. We're done here.
I kind of like that.
We're not doing a second map. You couldn't show up for 1 round. You're not playing a second map. That's how you speed it up. In Overwatch, a lot of retirements going on in the offseason, a lot of big changes. Former champions, you got Birding announced his retirement, Jester announcing his retirement, former Rookie of the Year in Season 1, Jonak, no longer on New York. He is looking for a team. He announced that he's still sticking with Overwatch, looking for a team. So that blows my mind. It's weird to me that a lot of these teams are letting big name players go as we're moving from 6v6 to 5v5. If I were an owner, I would like to hold on to someone like Jonak just to see how, like, I wouldn't be judging how my team looks now when the game is about to change completely. Like, wait, scrim a little bit on 5v5 and then go from there, but whatever. Shock is looking at Anuj doing almost a full-on rebuild as they basically drop everyone. There's even rumors that they're not going to re-sign Super. So
which is like the face of the league at this point.
yeah, like after Sinatra left and all that. So
All these roster changes that we're seeing, because I feel like each week we've kind of had an actual Overwatch section of changes being made. And I'm a little surprised for people being so proactive in making these changes prior to the release of the new game.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know, like unless they know something that we don't, which I think is also unlikely. I don't think they know a ton more.
I mean, they might have some like more news, right?
But they're not playing it.
They're not scrimming 5v5.
Yeah, maybe they have information, but they're not playing the game right now or in a competitive way at all, at least.
No,
right?
So that's what I'm saying. Like for Shock, you're not as of recent, but you were back-to-back champions for season 2 and 3. Like,
yeah, and you weren't terrible last year. Like you made it far, so
weird that they're dropping big names before a big change. I would think you'd pump the brakes and see where you can take it, but you know.
Yeah, like figure out who you want to release at that point, right? Like who's not going to fit this new meta, and I don't know. Odd.
We don't have the time to talk about it today, but one of these days we need to have a come to Jesus talk with esports. Because I really thought, not necessarily that Overwatch was going to change the landscape of things. Obviously, with how things were turning out, we saw pretty quickly, like, ooh, the geo, city-based teams weren't going to work. The home and away wasn't going to work as planned. I thought we were going to see, like, longer-term careers, though, at least. So maybe there's just no hope for esports in that term.
I think you should take Overwatch out of your head when you're trying to think about the success or failures of a league, because they're in their own little world over there. Like I think they're so different than the rest of esports because it's just been one bad event after another, it feels like, other than their live events, which have actually been great, but like in the sense of just one mistake after another when it comes to that game. I think it's hard to kind of judge what they're doing.
Either way, I want to have like I want to have like an adult conversation of like, let's look at esports 5 years ago and today, and do we feel as esports professionals, has esports grown in the last 5 years, 10 years, things like that. So maybe one of these days, if it's like a slow week, we can have that discussion, because I have thoughts and opinions. As two people who pay attention a lot to esports, I have thoughts. In Call of Duty, Formal says that he has an offer to play in Halo from a major team. He would be interested if he could still make content under the Optic banner. Well, yeah, just sign with Envy, and then you can make content under Optic, right? That's how that's going to work out.
Very confusing because it doesn't seem like Optic's long-term plan fits into esports anymore. Like I think there's going to be a content creation.
They're just going back to content creating.
But odd. I mean, why would you pass up an offer to play? You can always go back to Optic. I mean, they've shown loyalty to most of their former employees or whatever.
I would almost assume any content Formal is making would, like if you were a Formal fan, if you're a fan of Formal's content, are you going to stop tuning in just because it doesn't have Optic on it?
Well, and what would he do if he was playing Halo and he was making content? It would be content for that team.
But then with Optic, that's the dumbest like statement ever. Like, yeah, I want my cake and to eat it too type of thing. Not whatever. Call of Duty tweeted out the most odd tweet in the world. I'm gonna read it here for you. This is on Call of Duty's Twitter. Let me look it up on my phone so I can actually read it. 1 second here. Call of Duty tweets, "See you tomorrow," and then a picture that says, "Dear cheaters, we love games. It's our passion. We're honored to make games for the greatest fans in the world. We don't always get it right." Yeah. "But we're committed to doing our best. Cheating ruins the fun for everyone. No one likes a cheater. Our goal is to deliver a fun and fair gaming experience for our developers, for our fans, and most importantly, for Call of Duty players everywhere. Cheaters aren't welcome. There's no tolerance for cheaters, and soon you will know what we mean. Call of Duty." So apparently tomorrow they're finally going to get off their asses and implement some anti-cheat to it. This is like the weirdest tweet. Like, we're in 2021. If your sales pitch is, hey, we have an anti-cheat now, go to bed. Like, that's not, like, this shouldn't be a big deal. The fact that it's a big deal tells me how bad you are.
I understand the game is continuing into the next iteration of Call of Duty, so like it's still important that they do it. But yeah, it's weak that this has to be like a major announcement.
That's what I'm saying.
You're doing something for us. Like, this should be a given that
right? Like,
it's in the game. Like,
hey guys, don't worry, we're doing this for you guys. This anti-cheat.
I'm surprised they're not charging like $9.99 to activate the anti-cheat.
I just like how it's like finally after like 3 Call of Duties or whatever with Warzone that people have been cheating nonstop left and right. They're finally like, guys, we listened, and this is what we're doing about. Like, okay, like, thanks for putting an anti-cheat in your game, I guess. Activision Blizzard just needs to treat cheaters like they do women and abuse them.
That was good.
In FPS news, Splitgate Pro Series announced with a $100,000 prize pool, putting that big ass investment they got just a couple months ago to use. Look, I'm excited. I'm pro Splitgate. I know a lot of times it seems like we're not. I'm pro Splitgate. We'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, like, I didn't even know there were pro teams, honestly, for Splitgate.
I didn't either.
Surprising. So,
I mean, I guess if there's a multiplayer, there's a pro team out there, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I thought there was just like maybe content teams for it.
Right. I don't know. We'll see. I'll watch. Look, I'm actually very interested in watching it to see what a pro match looks like, right? Because when you're pugging, it's chaos with the portals.
I heard they're adding a forge pretty soon too.
Well, that's huge, right? Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Lot of MOBA news here. Obviously, as Worlds is going on, Anuj, you jotted down some notes. I will read through them, or unless you want to, if you have more for this.
That's literally, you can read that verbatim.
These are notes that Anuj put down for Worlds. 1.45, so almost 1.5 million concurrent viewers on Twitch for the 100 Thieves and EDG match. And that's probably even more, too, because that's just on, like, Twitch, I think some YouTube, but, like, NA viewership. Yeah. It's not even including, like,
it's like NAEU.
EU, whatever, but it's not including the Chinese viewers, right?
Yeah.
So it's
a pretty crazy number to post for that match, though.
Liquid Stuns Mad Lions in their opener. Right. Cloud9 choke away their game after taking an early lead. I saw people laughing about that in Discord, so I knew something about Cloud9 screwing up. Is it Bwipo? Bwipo from Fnatic unfollows the team management and CEO after their first round loss. I also saw people talking about this on Discord. Apparently it was just like hot heads. I think cooler heads ended up prevailing. They say he's not leaving the team. The biggest wait and see moment, whatever. If you leave, if you start unfollowing the team and management after a loss, you're probably mentally done, regardless of what anyone says.
Not having a good time at that point.
Yes, and some TI news going on here. Thunder Predators, Anuj, they go 0-8 in groups. They get 0 wins for their time at TI, but don't feel too bad for them because they are still walking away with roughly $100,000.
Yeah, and like, which executive allowed their child to name this team?
Thunder Predator?
Thunder Predator. Like, it just sounds like two things that a kid thought was cool and was like,
it sounds
that's
like
the team name.
It sounds like one of those like gamer tags when they're like, sorry, this is taken. Have you tried Thunder Predator?
Yeah, it sounds like a recreational league soccer team name.
And it's like a saber-toothed cat with lightning bolts for fangs.
Oh, for sure. I can already see the picture.
That is an arena football team written all over it. In other news here, you got Battle Royale news. Ghost Recon has announced that they are coming out with their own Battle Royale front line. I think it is free to play, and it looks like a free to play game. I don't know what it is about Ubisoft pumping out free to play games nowadays that look free to play. I'm not interested, personally.
Yeah, and it's like, I think when it comes to the Ghost Recon franchise, once again, it's just like they could do so much more. Like just a free to play battle royale that looks very much like Call of Duty's battle royales. Not it for
I
me.
would have been more excited for Ghost Recon style, but on larger scale maps. Like not necessarily a BR, but almost like how Arma was, right? Like Arma was on very large scale, realistic, nighttime warfare tactics.
Yeah.
Ghost Recon. Give me Ghost Recon.
Like I wanted a good single player game for Ghost Recon would have been nice too,
Yeah. Yeah, a little co-op action, right? That's what they were always known for. I don't need you sucking the life out of Tom Clancy, just to tap out anything you can from these brands nowadays to say like, look guys, Ghost Recon's back. It's a BR. And you're like, oh, cool. You essentially made a BR and slapped Ghost Recon on it.
I'm gonna add an impromptu battle royale one for you when you're done with this one.
Okay. And 100 Thieves announces their returns to Apex Legends, as that game's even having their pro scene lift off too. So they're getting a little juice for it.
Yeah, they just signed that big creator for it who also just made the Apex Legends series, whatever, I can't remember the name of the series, but he just made the series for him. So kind of saw them heading in this direction, but yeah, cool for them to get back in. Rumors are Fortnite is making a Fortnite movie, Tim. Interested? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
What's kind of funny is like the game Fortnite, not the BR, but the game Fortnite did have like a background story to it with the storm and the zombies, and you had to build a
like
fort.
The seasons actually meant something. They all kind of took you somewhere too, which was nice. So,
right.
Yeah, I think it could be cool.
So I'm down. I was never I don't like Fortnite gameplay, but the skin, the aesthetics, everything about Fortnite looks awesome. I just don't like the game. It's also not an esport. But no, I'm pumped. I'm actually surprised it's taken them this long. I'm surprised there wasn't like some Fortnite TV show or something like that. In FGC news, Smash Ultimate announces their last character, Sora from Kingdom of Hearts. Is it Kingdom of Hearts or Kingdom Hearts? Kingdom Hearts, right? Kingdom Hearts. Whatever. I'm honestly two things here I'm surprised about. A, that it's such a Nintendo thing to do to say, hey guys, this game is dead to us now. Here's the last character. Like, why would you announce that this is the last character? Some people are saying it's misdirection. They're saying if you look at the wording, it's the last character for this battle pass, and Nintendo was trying to make it seem like the last character ever. So like people are still expecting like, oh no, this is just so at E3 they can like drop a bombshell that there's going to be another character. We'll see. I also think it's funny that they said that this is the last character ever at the same time Nickelodeon dropped their All-Star Brawl like in the same week. So it's like, so you finally have your biggest rival to your game that pros are playing. Pros are enjoying the Nickelodeon game. And here you are saying that this game's done with updates? Odd.
Weird timing.
Odd. Pokemon 2022 Championship Series announces that they are finally adding Pokemon Go into the mix. So now you have trading card, the Pokemon games, a couple of them, and now Pokemon Go will be there. So if you do Pokemon Go battle, there you go. In other news, Twitch data leak. Anuj, I'm sorry to say, but people know how much we make now on Twitch. So
they found our number.
Hide your bank accounts. I mean, it's just another shit show on Twitch's side, right? Data leak.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that this stuff came out, but it almost feels like somebody internally leaked this stuff
right.
because it was like so nicely organized for us. Crazy numbers. I mean, it's absolutely mind blowing to see somebody like XQC making damn near $1 million a month, and just some of the other numbers. Like he was obviously at the top end, but even if you're in the top 50 to 100, you're making crazy money. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. I know sometimes we had an idea, like, and I tweeted out like, these guys are streaming for 8+ hours a day to 20,000, 40,000 people. It's a good good idea that they were probably making a money. Like, you could probably
When
take
you
a
can
wild
see
guess.
sub numbers, like everybody could have figured this out if they
Right.
wanted to.
You could have
Honestly, it's not like
Now, you got to think too, there's sponsor money that's going to be on top of that. First off, people can do whatever they want with their money. If you donate to these people, you might as well light your money on fire. They don't care about your 100. You do a $100 donation thinking you're going to get their attention. They don't give a fuck about your $100. They don't care. $100 is what they wipe their asses with. So they don't care. Stop giving these people. If anything, Twitch should be like, yeah, you guys are making enough money. Can you get rid of your donation? It looks tacky at this point. Like,
when you're making 850K a month.
Stop acting. Yeah, like when Tim the Tap Man went over to YouTube and he like was just getting thousands upon thousands of dollars donated. Like, guys, it's not like he moved over to YouTube because he's hurting for money. Like, stop giving these guys money. They're making. You wouldn't go to Tom Brady and be like, Tom, I'm a huge fan, bro. Here's $20. Thank you. Like, no, they make money now.
Do you think Tom would even like take his wallet out to put it in?
No, Tom Brady doesn't know what a $20 bill is. He's like, they make money this small? Like, what? So whatever. Give them to smaller streamers who, you want to show respect for. If you want to sub to bigger streamers, I get that. These $100,000 donations, I think this is just proof that it's dumb. I saw this. The Braves mascot dressed up as Dr. Disrespect.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of funny. Go check that out. And to end the show on sad news, as we always have to, though, rest in peace to Mainline. He ended up passing away at the age of 26. It was known that he's had cancer for the last couple of years. Unknown reason at the time, one would assume. But either way, regardless, 26 years old, ex-CSGO pro Mainline passed away. Stay hard, Mainline.
Helped a lot with the development of NACS too. I mean, he played in a lot of teams that had up-and-coming talent that moved on into higher level teams, and a highly respected player coming over from the source scene initially. Played for teams like Selfless, E United, first 3 seasons of ESL Pro League for CSGO. So sad to see so young. So yeah, I mean, rest in peace, dude, and condolences to family and friends of his.
Yeah, and I mean, you say kind of helped the scene up. He was a former coach of Dapper from Sentinels Valorant, right? So you kind of just see full circle.
His fingerprint.
Yeah,
kind of, he's throughout esports over here. So
yeah, so stay hard, Mainline. All right, well, that will do it. That will do it for this episode of The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast. This was episode 360. It came to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location, brought to you by Philly Esports. Check them out, phillyesports.gg. Sign up for their upcoming Rocket League tournaments. Grab 2 friends, go pro. It's easy as that. Hit them up on Twitter too. Tell them we sent you. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord, be a part of the conversation. If you're playing New World, our server opened back up. You can get in, you can play with us. The ball is rolling the way the game is. We can kind of always help you guys out, right? We can, if you having issues or whatever, the game kind of works out that way. We will be back next week. Maybe Sunday, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. I don't know. We'll have to look at our...
Definitely not Tuesday, because I'm out of town Tuesday to Friday.
So Sunday and or Monday. We will be back. Maybe with some major preview. Who knows? We'll look at a calendar, figure it out for you. But until then, we'll talk to you in Discord. For Anuj, I'm Tim. Love your face. See you later. Bye. All right, I'm gonna do this. Thank you for stopping by, Wolf. Yeah, TI's going on right now too. They actually just got out of groups in TI, so
a little bit further along.
A little more going on. All right, I'm going to kill the stream though, so I can edit this. We can upload it. I'm gonna go get food. And are you gonna be back on?
We're gonna see what she's doing, and that'll determine everything in the next 15 minutes here.
I feel that. All right, later, boys in the chat.
Love you guys.